Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for 2026 and also another South African derby of the URC. Now, there are two that are taking place today. This first one, Sharks versus the Lions, two stacked sides. The Sharks come in as favourites and also bringing in a little bit of form from their most recent fixtures. The Lions, they are a little bit of an unpredictable South African side. They sometimes do very well, they sometimes do struggle. This game's away from home, so it could be a challenging one, but the Sharks side, a couple big returns. Oxton Share back into that Sharks kit alongside Upper Fasi. So a change at 1, a change at 15, and a very exciting 15-man side for the starting lineup. Also in the front row, another South African international, Bongi Manambi, with Hanbro Jakob slotting in as 3. Jason Jenkins and Emil van Heeren will be the locking duo. Still no Eben Etzebeth for a few more weeks. Just for now, Sia Kolisi, Vincent Tachuka and Emmanuel Tachuka, they make up the loose forward trio. Now, Sia Kolisi has been in some brilliant form for the Sharks side, of course, recently announcing that he will be joining with the Stormers for next year's URC campaign, but he has at least been in some very good form for the Sharks. As of late, Grant Williams as the number 9 with Jordan Hendricks slotting in at 10, Marcus Oliver Pimpi out on the left wing, Andre Estes and the captain at number 12 with Ethan Hooker on his outside at 13, Edward van der Merwe at 14 and 15 up Lele Fasi. It is an absolutely stacked backline for the Sharks side. Full pack, looking pretty decent in that regard as well. In the starting lineup for the Lions, it is Eddie Davids in the front row alongside PJ Porta and Azanati Klabakanye slotting in as the number 3. Oosterhuizen alongside Ruben Schoeman as the locking duo. That is a position where they've had a few injury issues in just recent times, the Lions. We did see that game just before Christmas, where I believe it was 2 locks went down, including Landsberg, when he did make his way off the bench. Jared Ken slots in at 6 with Ruan Finta alongside Frankie Horn in the loose forward trio. Morne Vandenberg and Chris Smith, 2 very important parts of this Lions side for this fixture. Angelo Davids out on the left wing, Bronson Mills and Eric Cronje in the midfield with Killian Peku and Kieran Horn as the number 15. But those are the starting lineups, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you guys all did have a very good new year. Of course, like I mentioned, 2026 now, it's a hectic year for rugby. We're going to get to see that All Blacks and Springboks tour. There is the Six Nations just around the corner. Super Rugby starting back up in the near future. Plenty of sevens in there as well. And a couple South African derbies to start off the year as well. We have got hi from Ronnie. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. Sharks by 19 is LFG's prediction. And we have got the hello or good afternoon. How are you, Hamish? Says Mohadeen, doing very well. And yeah, excited for what is hopefully going to be a very entertaining game of rugby. Some have said that that Bulls versus Stormers match is the one that has a little bit more intrigue, but this game is definitely not one to pass over either. There are some, like I said, very, very handy players out there on the field. We could see like 60 points or something in this game, or it could also be a very low-scoring game, in which case it would be slightly unfortunate. I feel like both of these sides have plenty of points in them. So let's hope for that one instead. We have got there, the undercard should be good. Says Frontier, and hi Hamish, hi all. Happy New Year to all. Says Wild Lobster in there. And Stormers will win. Says Mohadeen, what did you do for New Year? I was in bed by 11 p.m. I'm getting old. So I just decided, oh well, early night we'll go with. But I did go on holiday. So like the potential of going out and about was there, but just couldn't be bothered. It was late at night. It'd been a big day. We got up at like 7 a.m. So we just went to bed rather than going out on the town. We have got Go Sharks Go. Says Bernard, and also come on the Bulls. Says Frontier, and the Stormers will win. Says Mohadeen. Also, if you realise that I'm quite red, it is because I got sunburned. Very unfortunate. But my face is not as red as my thighs. So that's unfortunate, but that's what happens when it looks overcast. You think, she'll be right. Don't need the sunscreen, and then you get burnt. Early nights, says another person. Hey bro, Christo here. Sharks is going to win. They have a good potential of being able to get themselves the victory here, the Sharks. Like I mentioned, the return of Oxton Share, the return of Upper Fasi, like it is absolutely stacked from start to finish for the Sharks team, and it's just about getting it right for the 80 minutes. They've had some close fixtures as of late, but they're actually in some good form. They're starting to turn it around a little bit for the Sharks. We look through at their recent fixtures, getting themselves the win over the Bulls, 21 points to 12. Also beating Saracens. That was the kind of game that I felt turned it around a little bit for the Sharks. There was potential to lose that game at home, but they held on. They're actually on a 2-match winning streak at home in just their last 2 games that have been played there too. And then up against Toulouse. That game was a struggle away from home. They weren't really ever expected to win that game. Had a valiant second half for a little bit of time, but overall, I think compared to where they were last year, the Sharks, they won't mind where they sit at the moment, although they do need to start climbing. They're sitting in 14th place, but if they were to win this game with a bonus point, they can potentially go as high as 10th place in the overall standings, maybe even into 9th if they did get themselves a huge win over the Lions here. As you can see, that points differential really is hurting them at the moment, but if they were to win this game by, I believe they'd need about a 25-30 point win over this Lions team, that would then propel them above them on the table. And that top 8 race is starting to get more and more intriguing. 7th place all the way down to 15th, if not 16th. So we have a really good shot of making it into the top 8 for the quarterfinals. We've got there, the Sharkies are too strong for the Lions. Hi, Hamish says, hey, no, welcome in. You're doing extremely well. This is going to be a close one. And Man Q is me, says K Goody. Hopefully I've said that correctly. And also we get their Bulls by 3, says Frontier. And how are we? 12th, says Hayno. I assume you're talking about the Bulls there. And yeah, it is surprising. That is, of course, the updated table, as in what has just recently happened. So I think the Bulls were a little bit higher up at the start of the round. But 12th hurts a little bit. So that is why they're going to have that little bit of extra motivation, try and get the wins over the undefeated Stormers. The Sharks, Bulls, says Seller. And also, Happy New Year, Hamish. Was the New Year celebrations a great blast? No, I was in bed. I went to sleep. Like, around New Year's was good. We did things during the day and then the day after. But at the nighttime stage of things, just an early night, and to be up early the next morning. We have got the Bulls by 3, says Frontier. And the world is right again. Hamish is back online with rugby at last. And I'm having my first cold lager 2026. Happy to have you back. And I hope you had an awesome festive season, says Robert. Same to you. It sounds like you are already cracking into the cold ones for 2026. So if your New Year's resolution was to not drink anything in terms of alcoholic, like that probably has been broken now. And I do think that a lot of people possibly have already broken their New Year's resolution. So if you haven't, let me know what you're going for this year. I had a list of about 9 things. I'll probably get about maybe 1 of them done if I'm lucky. You still look tired, Amish. Stormers by 20, says Mohadin. You always do like to point out my flaws. Mohadin, of course. But yeah, it's still a little bit lacking of the sleep. I drove home today, which was about a 3-hour drive, so it's probably why I look a little bit sleepy. We have got the Sharks, the Bulls, and the Lions are playing some terrible rugby, says Seller. Yeah, see, I don't know if I'd say terrible. Some of them have been a little bit rough, Like, don't get me wrong, I don't want to bring up the Bulls too much because I know that it hurts to hear, but, they are struggling at the moment. But they've made changes. And with how close the URC table is, we've seen in recent years, all you've got to do is be within that top 8 and you've got a chance of winning the whole thing. Sides have won away from home in the finals, in the semi-finals, in the quarters. But you just have to be that top 8. And the South African sides, with the exception of the Lions, are often in that top 8. The Sharks, a little bit more 50-50. They can either be near the top or near the bottom. Last year, I think they finished in the top 8, didn't they, the Sharks? They actually finished quite nicely. From memory, I think, because they're in the Champions Cup this year, aren't they? And we have got their problems 25-28 in favour of the Blue Bulls. And Sharks 18-15. Also, you go on 2 close games, both separated by 3. And we've finally gone with a 6-2 split. I'm so happy about that, says Hayno. And I might switch to the Dragons. Well, they are going very nicely at the moment in the URC. I will mention we're only 5 minutes away from the kickoff of this contest. We've actually got a 15-minute build-up for that next live stream as well, ladies and gents. And that is going to be the Bulls versus the Stormers. A side that very much so need the win up against a side that are undefeated. This stage of the URC, you heard Khaleesi is going to the Stormers. Yeah, massive Christmas present for the Stormers supporters, although I know that there was some concern about what that means for someone like a Paul de Villiers, who at the moment is going very well in that 6th jersey, but having someone like Siya Kolisi as either starting or making his way off the bench is absolutely huge. I want to know what that does to Evan Ruiz, and I don't actually know how long his contract's got left, but would we see him potentially, with the fact that he's not too high up in terms of the Springbok pecking order, Could we see Evan Ruiz go to France or Japan or somewhere like that maybe? Could happen. Now, Hamish, you're not in a celebration mood. That's very to believe. I've heard you went to New Year's celebrations last year. Wait, no, Hamish, you're not in a celebration mood. It's very hard to believe. I assume you're talking about New Year's night. Yeah, I was just tired, so I just went to bed. Like, and the thing is, for us to go anywhere, like where we were staying, it was out of town a little bit, so it was a bit of a trek to get there. But just went to bed. It just seemed easier, cheaper. Start the year right. I guess the Sharks by 8, says Hayno. It could happen. I'll be honest, the Sharks are a side that, this is going to sound harsh to the Lions, because I like seeing the Lions with the way that they play. Like, they're doing quite nicely every once in a while. But the Sharks should win this game by like 15. If we're looking at it from form, and we're looking at what the Sharks side have in terms of potential, they should win this game comfortably. But the problem is the Lions don't allow that to happen. In any of the games that they play away from home, they just seem to find that little bit of extra motivation and get going. I went to bed after 8 p.m. CSLer, I didn't make any silly resolutions like giving up beer. Said I've resolved to not make an annoying comments here, says Robert. And there, and also we have got their months rotated. Mohadeen, 10 changes, says Hayno. And did you see the Munster game? Yeah, they didn't quite go as well as they would have liked up against Ulster. I'm still picking Ulster as one of the favourites to win this whole competition, though. And every time I say it, people laugh at me. But if they can make it into like the semi-finals or the final, and if they were to somehow be able to win the whole thing, I would be quite happy, mainly because I predicted it from the start. But I think they're going to be top 4, Ulster, and I do think they're really going to be a tough side to beat, because they look good away from home every once in a while as well. But round 9 already of the URC competition, we are getting closer and closer to those playoff games. And we have got there, did you see Springboks coaching team left the Bulls? Springbok coaching team left the Bulls. Wait, so they got them in, didn't they? A couple of those guys. But then, the new guys have already left, are you saying? Or were they only there for a very short period of time, perhaps? They are just showing the starting lineup. Once again, Oxenshire being back is great news for the Sharks. I really hope they haven't rushed him back here and he is able to play to a full kind of 40, 50 minutes of really impactful rugby like we are used to seeing from the Ox. Scrums in this game could be very intriguing, because this is one of those ones, you know how most people look at the backs for the head-to-heads? Like next game, Sasha versus Pollard. This game for me is Oxenshire versus Azanati Klabakanye. In terms of those scrums, like that is something that you don't get too often. It is almost like a Christmas present, although we are a little way away from Christmas now. A Happy New Year, one and all. A very hot and humid in Durban with a strong southwester blowing, says Neil. So yeah, it could impact the way that these two sides do play a little bit. It looks like the sun is out really bright at the moment though. What's the temperature like in Durban? Neil, do let me know. A lot of supporters in the stands. I know that this game wasn't a sellout, but that Bulls versus Stormers game a little bit later on is supposed to be. Hopefully it will be a great atmosphere, just like this game as well. But do let me know your score predictions if you haven't already. The Sharks backline is stacked, so they are probably going to score a few tries between them. But someone like a Kuan Horn, that pace of Killian Peku, very handy man too. He didn't get new guys in with him. A bought in Neil De Bruyne from Pile Boys, Swiss De Bruyne's son. And then the Springbok coach is helping out after this weekend. Says, hey, no, and 28 degrees, says Neil. Oh, yeah, no, that's a bit warm. I remember you did out to last year's New Year's celebration. We're not in the mood this year. It's just pretty much, like, there were only going to be 2 of us. It was going to be me and George. Like, last year we had, I believe it was 4 of us. The year before we had, like, 5 of us. This year it was just me and George. So we were like, oh, well, early night. Yeah, I heard a few fireworks going off. But, yeah, we had a barbecue beforehand. That was nice. And Sharks backline or Stormers backline, says Hayno. Honestly, on paper, you'd probably have to say the Sharks backline. Don't get me wrong. The Stormers have a lot of X-factor across their lineup. They've got Damien Valimza back in that number 12 jersey. But as a, I would say, position to position, the Sharks do have the better backline. But the Stormers, they have those X-factor players that can make their whole backline look better, if that makes sense. According to Ackerman, the Springbok coaches have not yet joined the Bulls, says Johan De Bruyne. in there too. So yeah, we'll be interested to see what kind of impact they can make for this Bulls side. Now, of course, this game for them just around the corner is not going to be easy. Same can be said about this Lions side away from home, ready to go for this contest. Yeah, the Sharks backline. It can do a lot of damage if it is on song. Last game that we did see, they didn't score a huge amount of points, the Sharks, but they got themselves a great win. Why is Kirtley not playing? I think he's still injured, isn't he? Kirtley RNC. He's been dealing with a couple little injuries here and there. He hasn't gone back overseas, has he? Great game coming up, says GFA. Yeah. I'm excited for this game. Like, out of all of the matches to start the new year with, in fact, we'll double down on that. Out of all the matches, or 2 matches to start the year with, like, these are great. South African derbies. What more can you ask for? Christopher Ellison will be the referee in charge of this one. I will be honest, I do not know this man. But hopefully he's all right. How's it, Hamish? And Zimbabwe, Sharks need this win, says Godfrey. Yeah, currently sitting 14th on the table at the moment. 1 second, we'll go like this. And we'll go like that as well. So the Lions are 9th. If they got themselves the win here, they go up to 7th. If the Sharks get themselves the win here, even without a bonus point, they could be looking as high as maybe 11th or 10th. But with that bonus point, they will propel themselves above Connacht on the overall table. Very hot by me. My mum is sick, says Mohadeen. So I am sorry to hear that. The mum sickness part, not the hot, unless it's too hot in that regard for your Mohadeen. But hopefully you got a fan nearby. You're able to cool off on the hot, humid day, but ready to go for this contest. 5 seconds away from the kickoff of the URC for 2026 and the South African sides. The match is only starting at 4 p.m. South African time, so there's 45-minute build-up to the game. Says Mohadeen, or sorry, that was Mornay. No, the game has just kicked off, and Grant Williams has put the ball into touch. So this game kicking off at 2:30 a.m. New Zealand time. Could you do Bafana game tomorrow? I know that they're playing Cameroon, aren't they? I'm not 100% sure whether or not the schedule will allow it, but if they do make it through, I think the quarterfinal won't overlap for me, so I may be able to do that. We were initially going to try and do some of the group stage matches for them. I saw they got a good win over Zimbabwe, 3-2. And now PJ Botha ready to throw the ball in for the Lions, taken at the back by Frankie Horn, and already we see the attack of this Lions side. Tackle made by Emmanuel Tachuka, who is rocking the black and green headgear for today. Not something the man often wears. Now Klabakanye, bulldozing himself towards the opposition, gets driven back 5 metres. So that is something you don't see every day for the big tight head prop. Killian Peku close to the sideline. To cut back inwards. It's where the Lions, they just have to keep those phases going. They can't afford to give this ball back to the Sharks this early. Definitely not with a dangerous counter-attack. They do normally offer. Morne Funenberg going back into the pocket. Surely not a drop kick. No, it is going to be kicked high by Chris Smith. Little bit too much depth on it. And Upper Lelefasi, he takes the mark. He's also got headgear on. Interesting. Maybe a new headgear sponsor here for the Sharks. Either that or all the players maybe sticking a little bit of ice up there. Be a sneaky way of keeping the body a little bit cooler. This looks like a very tricky Sharks squad. Lions going to have to play smart and well to get any points, says Robert. And also, Mornay, it has started now, says Hayno. And I'm just getting ready to go and watch the Stormers at the stadium. Should be leaving in an hour or so. Yeah, I hear that it's sold out for that game, so hopefully you're able to get there easy enough. And traffic isn't too much of an issue. Ready to throw this one in again for the Lions. PJ Botha goes to the front, and again it is contested by the Sharks, but held on to by the Lions. Morne Funenberg, he probably had his worst game for the Lions the last time that we commentated a Lions game. It looks like they've won themselves the penalty, though, for not rolling away against the Sharks. Come on, Lions, says Mr. Bovril. I doubt we make it past the quarterfinal. And they're not playing in Johannesburg, gladly, because there's massive thunderstorms in the Joburg area, says Mornay. And, yeah, so he's saying not past the quarterfinals for the Bulls. The thing is, though, if the Bulls are in the top 8, because of how open it is, I don't think they want to play the Stormers in the quarterfinal, but I think that if the Bulls find some rhythm, they are good enough to beat quite a few of those sides in the top 8. It's just they haven't found it yet. Where you're watching the game, watching it on URC TV, and on there, we are about to see Chris Smith take the first kick of the day. This would give the Lions the early lead in this fixture, 3 minutes in. Let's hope the Lions put up a better fight than Maduro. I'm not sure who that is. Is it Sports person, Mike? I'm trying to think of which sport it would be. For some reason, I thought of like pool or darts or something. That one has gone over, though, from the Lions, and that is going to make the score now 3.5 minutes in, 3-0 for the Lions. The Bulls won't even make the quarterfinals. Says Hano, got my tickets nice and early, no issues on my side. And Hamish and Kiwi Lads commentary rocks first for 2026. Says Ruthie, and go the Lions. Now kicked off by Jordan Hendrickse. Not quite the start that the Sharks would have been after, but still early enough in the game that a lot can change. Venezuela's president, says Hansi. Right, I have no idea what the reference is then. Hamish, you're looking absolutely fabulous again. I'm looking a little bit red. I did get sunburnt, unfortunately. It didn't look like it was going to be sunny, and in fact, it wasn't really. And it still got burnt. Gotta hate some UV rays. But now, line out throw for Bongi Umbanambi. First line out of 2026 for that man in a match. Now, Sio Kolisi going short side. He had Williams with him, but he just couldn't quite get that little flick pass to the left-hand side. Does mean that they do go into touch. The Lions have another line out. Did you have a wonderful Xmas and New Year, Hamish? It was good overall. The Americans kidnapped him last night. Well, that wasn't very nice, was it? A rosy cheek, says Ruth. And red is good, green isn't. Yeah, if I had green cheeks, I'd be quite concerned. Yeah, Sio Kolisi just not quite able to find Grant Williams. He thought he was going to be on the inside, on the short side, but instead was on the outside. Let's go the Lions, says Eric. Now throwing this one in. Nicely taken by the Lions inside of their 22 with Ruan Fenta making his way forward. Now Umbanambi looking for the steal. He may have got it as well. So Morne Funneberg was told to get out of it, and somehow he's managed to rip that one back. Get another penalty for his side. Happy New Year. This is my first tune in 2026. We'll be doing the Six Nations. I certainly will be every single game. I'm hoping to cover on the channel. I know the last couple years I've been away for the first round. That is because of weddings. But I've run out of cousins to get married at this stage, so we should be good to go for the first round. And let's go the Lions, says Eric. And Ulster might play brilliant rugby at the moment, but they not unbeaten like the Stormers, and the Stormers still must play Ulster. Then we shall see how good they are, says Morne Lagrange. And Sharks fix up, says Hano there too. Yeah, so it became a ruck there. The Umbanambi did so well to steal that ball. Now the Lions, another line out. Currently 2 penalties against the Sharks in the early stages. Running onto that one's Bronson Mills, the youngster in the number 12 jersey. Morne Fundenberg. Got me tongue in all sorts of wrong places there. Now left-hand side, Chris Smith, wide cut out pass, finds Kirian Peku down the short side. He's getting close to the try line. In fact, he's just half a metre short here for the Lions. They have started with a hiss and almost a roar as they go closer to the try line again. Peja Bota brought down just short of the line. Now the big man, Oosterhuizen with advantage. He goes over, and the Lions are struck again in Durban. They will be up 8-0 in the early stages of this game. And this is exactly what they did up against, I believe it was the Bulls. Only about a month or so ago, they started fast and they made an impact from the get-go. The Sharks are being, you'd say, punished for their ill discipline. Already given away a couple easy penalties. And Oosterhuizen, yes, says Rusa, the big man. Tene Oosterhuizen in that 4 jersey, like I mentioned, a lack of locks in some regards for the Lions after so many injuries. The Sharks are drowning. Says Hano there. 3 tries now for Oosterhuizen throughout his career. A kick for the post for Chris Smith. And a dream start to the new year for this Lions team away from home. 1 from 1 at the moment for Smith. He's 37 metres out. And he's got it over. 10-0 for the Lions. Now, it's not over yet. We need to clarify, because normally the Lions do start fast, but sometimes they do then drop off. The Lions, throughout the first 8 minutes though, they haven't really done a lot wrong. They've had some very strong moments, and the Sharks just looking a little bit rattled. The early stages of this contest, they are absolutely stacked with Springboks start to finish in their lineup. The return of Oxenshire and Upper Lelefasi for this game. We've hardly seen them touch the ball as of yet. And the Sharks kick it out on the full off the kickoff. So Jordan Hendrickse made a big mistake there as it brings the Lions back to the halfway line. It's a very intriguing way for this match to start. That game between the Stormers and the Bulls, they are expecting a high-scoring one between those two sides. This game, it's whether or not the Lions, now that they've started like this, can just keep it rolling. Now the Sharks had too much to drink after New Year's, and Lions going to win by a good 15 points. Says Haino, I think it's too early yet in this game. Pack advantage in terms of the weight for the Lions. Did you see about an extra 30 kgs for them? But here we go. Oxenshire, first scrum back for that man since his injury in the game up against, I believe it was the Japanese. Tackle from Warner Dearns. Ox is back and he's going head there with Clubber Kanye. In this scrum, both sides looking very solid at the moment, not moving an inch. Morne Vandenberg goes off to the left-hand side. Kjuan Horn, man on the outside. Nice hands from Kronya. Almost thought about going for the pass to Angelo Davids. I have to say, Kelly and Peku spent a lot of time out on that left wing side as well. Bronson Mills sells the dummy through the middle. He's going to be dragged down, tries to go for the offload, and it doesn't work out. The Sharks now get the ball back 10 metres out from their own line. It looks like it's been ripped away by Eddie Davids. I thought it was a knock-on, but it's going to be play on now in favour of the Lions. Big bump off from Ruan Fenter. Goes to Frankie Horn, and they score again, the Lions. This wasn't supposed to happen the way that it is. I don't think Lions supporters in the stands can believe it. The Sharks supporters have gone dead silent as Frankie Horn runs in the second try. I thought there was a knock-on, though, in the build-up. Initially when the Lions did lose that ball, but because of the fact that the Sharks had the ball and then the Lions took it back, that then means that the TMO cannot check for that. It then becomes the new play. Frankie Horn slides in for the try. And Storms will win, says Mohadeen. I'm here for the pain if my side loses, says Ruby. Currently 15-0 in favour of the Lions. You call it a dream start, but it's just... it's interesting, that's for sure. Chris Smith can't quite bring that one back, so it does keep the score as 15-0 in favour of this Lions side. But there are big smiles on the face of the Lions supporters in the crowd at this point in time. But just a great bump off there from Ruan Fenter. Knocked away Makazole Mapimpi and then lured in two other defenders out wide. And going for the little flick pass. Ready to kick this one off for the Sharks. It is Jordan Hendrickse. That's back underway. Makazole Mapimpi chasing after that hard, but it is taken by Oosterhuizen. 11 minutes into this fixture. The Sharks need to be the next side to score points on the board. So this could be a very long day at the office for the 14th ranked side. Downfield, Morne Vandenberg, Kelly and Peku chasing after this one. Oh, Apalili Fassi almost taken out in the air there. Now off to Andre Esterhuizen. This is the type of run, the type of player that the Sharks need to get his hands on the ball. Chris Smith missed. That's a turning point, says Neil. Yeah, at the point where he did go for the kick, like the Lions hadn't really done too much wrong. And you wonder whether or not, is it going to be the momentum shifter? Or whether maybe, it's just a rare miss. Because Chris Smith, he doesn't miss often. It's one big bonus they've got. And actually where they've got a bit of an advantage, I would say, in this game, the Lions, is that kicking accuracy. But off to the right-hand side, 40 metres out from the Lions line. It's in the hands of Emmanuel Tachuka. He's already got rid of the headgear, so obviously that was a flash in the pan. And so is Apalele Fassi. Interesting. So two players for the Sharks who don't normally wear headgear started the match with headgear for the first 5 minutes, and then both have decided to take it off. It's as if they didn't realise it was 28 degrees. Now Grant Williams going for the box kick for the Sharks as they weren't really going forward a massive amount. Here comes Edward Vandermerwe going up for the ball, but it's taken by Angelo Davids out on that left wing side. Inside of their 22 at the moment for the Lions. Well, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Lions off to a rampage. And also Lions came to play. Yeah, they've come out firing the early stages of this game. Already 2 tries, so they only need another 2 to get the bonus point. But I think they will definitely take the win first over a bonus point in this game. It's kicked in a touch by Morne Vandenberg. Lions concede the line out. The Lions winning the forwards battle, says Haino, which is a crazy one to say, isn't it? With the fact that Ox is there, Bongio Manambi, Sio Kolesi, the Tachuka brothers, Jason Jenkins in there as well. But the Lions are just one of those sides that if you give them half a chance, they'll make the most of it. 67% of the possession is in favour of the Lions at this point in time. If the Sharks can bring that back to 50-50, they've got a really good shot scoring some serious points in this game. Almost stolen at line-out time, but nicely taken by the Sharks, and there is an advantage in their favour. First penalty of the day against the Lions. There goes my New Year's resolution to drink less beer. Thanks to my Sharkies, that didn't last long, says Ruby. Jordan Hendrickson, he is kicking this one towards the corner. Already decided 3-pointers will not be enough in this game, or at least at this point in time for the Sharks. So taken by Vincent Tachuka. They're just mentioning that wind as well. Means that they sit about 15 metres out from the line at the moment for the Sharks, but this will be their first real attacking chance of the whole game. Nicely taken by Emil van Euren. Pops it off to Seo Kolisi. Now flat attack and run from Andre Estes. And Grant Williams thought about a pick and go. He might get the penalty advantage. Yes, he does. Players not rolling away fast enough for the Lions. Now pick and go from Vincent Tachuka. He gets 5 metres out. Williams back across to Jason Jenkins. There's van Euren with him. Now another advantage. It's going to be, I believe that was Emmanuel Tachuka. Now short side. Vincent Tachuka dragged down again. Some good work, though, from the Sharks forwards. Well defended by the Lions. That looks close, and that is over. I believe it's Emmanuel Tachuka by the looks of it. Yes, it is. Who manages to score the try for the Sharks. He's going right over and having a bit of a word with one of the Lions loose forwards. I'm not sure what has been said between those two, but Emmanuel Tachuka gets over for try number 13 of his career. The Sharks back in the game. Springtide, the Sharks are washed up, says Mike. Managing to wrestle over that last metre. Emmanuel Tachuka, yeah, it was Ruan Fenta that he walked over and had a bit of a chat to. Emmanuel Tachuka, of course the scoreboard says otherwise at this point in time, but a couple more tries for the Sharks and they are right back in this game. And that is the big concern for the Lions of giving up possession. As soon as you do that, Sharks have a chance. Jordan Hendrickson unable to get that one over. He sits 0 from 1, but the Sharks do sit with 5 on the board after 16 minutes, which I can't believe has already passed in this game. It's felt like 5, but 15 points to 5 the score. Going to see it there. It was actually a 2-man collision initially, but just spinning off to the side for Emmanuel Tachuka and getting in. Managing to score the try, of course. Vincent Tachuka was close to scoring just prior to that. Some nice work coming from the loose forwards. Juan Horn kicks it off long. Taken by, this time, Vincent Tachuka inside of his own 22. An high-scoring game, says Haino. Which I think is exactly what people want for like that neutral perspective. The fact that both of these sides have potential putting on 30 points here is great news for me anyway. Do love a high-scoring game. Now, Juan Horn is just to offload it away. Chris Smith tackled low by Edward van der Merwe. And hot chocolate now and enjoying Kiwi Lads commentary. And Lions hold them off, boys. There's Roof there too. Now, Oosterhuizen, one of the 2 try scorers at the moment for the Lions. The other, Frankie Horn. Working the breakdown from Jordan Hendrickson, trying to put in a little bit of pressure. Juan Horn kicks it high. That one's going just down to the halfway line, and that is well claimed again. They've got themselves the penalty advantage for offside. That one's actually hit the referee. Just gave Ethan the ball, says Ruby. Yeah, is Ethan... I almost called him Ethan Tachuka, but has Ethan Hooker touched the ball yet? I know that Andre Estes had a couple of carries. I don't know if it's got out to Ethan just yet. We've seen Edward van der Merwe trying to get that ball. Yeah, it does seem to be that the forwards are trying to get a little bit of momentum for the Sharks, although they have given away the penalty there. Chris Smith getting ready to kick this one towards the sideline. And it does go out. I don't think we're going to see anyone really risking going for huge meters for their kicking penalty side of things, just because of the fact that it is so windy. Don't want to have it accidentally go the wrong way, but it was actually Edward van der Merwe who was penalised there for offside. Don't Lions have Springbok players? Not a huge amount. They've got Morne Vandenberg. They've got Juan Horn, who did get an opportunity. He hasn't had an opportunity as of late. And then also they've got Klabakanye. But outside of that, big slamming tackle by Bongi on Manambi, but there was a knock on. So that's going to be the scrum feed for the Sharks. This will actually be their first scrum feed of the contest, so we will get to see if Oxenshire can get the advantage over Klabakanye. There's always a fun mover. Cape Town hot and very blustery. That's going to be where we get to see that Stormers versus Bulls game. Hopefully it's high scoring like this one too. Now we have got there my Ty Tours. I said this Kiwi lad working hard. Hit the button, guys. Says Myth. Oh, wait. Oh no, it is my Ty Tours. I thought for a second it might have been Myth at the start. Myth AI Tours. Oh, it could be. I think it's Ty though, maybe. So we'll go with that. But yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. It is a brand new year, 2026. We're going to have, I'm guessing, at least a few hundred live streams throughout this year. Maybe even more. Hit the like button, people. See, there's Ruth there, but now scrum feed here. 2 tries being scored by the Lions, just the 1 for the Sharks, but they are only down by the 10 points, and there is plenty of minutes remaining in this game. Hi, Hamish. My aunt says Happy New Year, so Happy New Year to your aunt and yourself. Cool story, Sharks. Now off to the left-hand side, chance here. Andre stays and finds Makazole Mapimpi. Let's make a couple extra meters before being dragged down by Bronson Mills. Grant Williams thought about the short side, and he's had the pressure on him by Morne Vandenberg. Going to go right back for the initial penalty, though, in favour of the Sharks at scrum time. Okay, that's going against Eddie Davis. I was just trying to hear whether or not it was on that far side of the scrum or the near side. A not driving straight penalty against Davids, against Humber or Jacobs for this game. Jordan Hendrickson pops the ball into touch. This is where, once again, the Lions, you give them a little bit of possession. Can make all the difference in this game. We have there, Hamish, cool story, bro. Yeah, Auntie Baby Groovy. And my Ty Tours says my Ty. And there, see, that's where, that's the only problem with the at. Because as you can see, for me, it's that. Whereas with the actual names, I can see the gap, so I know where it starts, where it finishes. But do you actually do Ty Tours? That's almost a tongue twister. First run for Ethan Hooker. Because if so, if I was to go to Thailand, where would you recommend? I don't know if I'll ever end up there, but if I did, where would you say I should go? Going off to the right-hand side. Nice low tackle made on Makazole Mapimpi. That ball came loose, but I think it's gone backwards for the Sharks, or at least that is what they've said at the moment. Now, Bongi on Manambi back across to the right-hand side. Hendrickson finds Esterhuizen. Big fed forward pass. They will go back now for the Lions scrum. Or a little bit of afters there between Emil van Heeren and also Oosterhuizen, I believe it was. 26, Hamish born 2000. Says Ruth. Or I was born 1999. So I just snuck into before the 2000s. But I am 26. The square saying today's match is on the 4th. The square saying today's match is on 4th January 2026 is one day ahead. Says Kevin, it is just because it's in New Zealand time. That's all it is. It started at 2:30 a.m. New Zealand time, which for us is on the 4th of January. But yeah, for the actual local time, it is, I believe, I want to say 4:30 p.m. kickoff in the afternoon. Or it might even be 3:30 p.m. kickoff, actually. Now, 22 minutes through in this contest. The Sharks ready to get another scrum going. They did win the penalty at the last one. Want to assert that a little bit. Oh, no, sorry, Lions scrum feed, I should say. Did you cover the Ashes, Hamish? I never got any notifications from YouTube. I didn't. I wanted to, but then also at the same time, I knew that we had certain, people visiting during times when the Ashes were on. We watched the last test match, though, all 2 days of it, which was thoroughly entertaining. I was considering covering the 5th one, but I kind of want to wait and see what the pitch is doing, whether or not it's going to be, once again, a done and dusted in 2 or 3 days, or whether it's going to be a long test match. I see taken by Edward van der Merwe under the high ball. Now Williams goes back across to Bongi on Manambi, finds Afalele Fasi. Now Sio Kolisi has Makazole Mapimpi with him, but doesn't use him, and the penalty goes against, I believe it was Mapimpi who did end up leaving his feet in the breakdown. Oh, Wait. Oh no, penalty's been reversed in favour of the Sharks now. Bafana is playing tomorrow. Yeah, they are up against Cameroon in that contest. And 3:30, says Neil. And also Thailand and Phuket and Krabi and Fifi Island. See, I've only heard of the first one out of those three. Although I don't know Thailand very well, to be fair. That's a great kick. Very good kick from the Sharks. They're going to be 5 metres out from the line now. I feel sorry for the ref. Look at him, so skinny, says Albert. Oh, okay, so what's happened there is there was the big push off the ball from Oosterhuizen on Apelele Fasi, which then reversed that initial penalty when you're going back to work. Depends a little bit. It might be next week. In fact, no, it will be next week. I'm just not sure of the day. Come on, Sharks, you can do it. So there's Bernard there. Ready to throw it in. Bongyum Banambi. 5 metres out from, what's this? Okay, referee was just saying don't preload for the Sharks. I was a little bit confused at what happened there. They had a couple guys maybe where they weren't supposed to, so referee says we'll have a reset, I should say. And also, we have got there, same to you, Kevin. Hamish was born during the year of the Matrix. Spooky, was I? I haven't seen the Matrix. Unfortunately, old short side, Sio Kolisi goes over and he scores the try for the Sharks that now gets them back into the game. He'll have to arrange to meet Sebastian in Thailand. He's very keen to go, says Fleshin. Has he been before, Fleshin, or is it just that's the location he wants to go? Thailand is a very friendly country. Stay in the tourist hotspots. Stay away from the dodgy-looking areas in the north, says Albert. Will you do Bafana game next Friday? Maybe. I can't guarantee it. And also, they may not have a game next Friday if they lose to Cameroon, which hopefully they won't. I feel like it would be nice to see them do well. Although Cameroon, a tough side. Now, ready to line up this kicker is Jordan Hendricks. So the score sits 10 points to 15. Do you still remember when they said they want to take the scrum away? Yeah. And I don't think it will ever happen. Because, if you're taking a scrum away, you are playing rugby league. And Hendricks bringing it round with the breeze, gets it over. 15 points to 12. He has a wish list of places to visit. Says Fleshin, and hey, I thought you were going to commentate on the Bafana game. I initially was, and then I realised I had very, very little knowledge about any of the players. So I thought I'd watch the group stage matches first, just to give me a little bit more of an insight on them. But yeah, I still don't know many of the players, to be fair. One's going to be kicked off, nicely taken by Vincent Tuchuka. Oh, that's a good bump off there. And also didn't quite work scheduling-wise because some family did visit that day and stayed that night, so it meant that I didn't really want to wake them up early. We have got the Cameroon, the Lions of Africa. Or is that Senegal? That's a very good question that I don't know the answer of. Now going off to the right-hand side. Now Kioan, nice step on the outside, and it's going to hit the hands of Makazole Mapimpi, so it should be a knock-on advantage to the Lions, although it does look like it's going to be play-on just for now. Clubber Kanye. Tackled again. Back across, almost intercepted by Grant Williams. He's done extremely well to not knock that one on up until about his fourth juggle of it. The Lions, the ball back. Bronson Mills. Nice step there. We have got there, you can never commentate a Bafana match as you don't have a Vuvuzela, says Kevin. Any idea who's captaining the Sharks? Andre Esterhuizen, he is in charge of the side. He has been for a little while now. Oh, that one's going to go a little bit too far for Morne Vandenberg, looking for the corner, but instead gets the dead ball area. We'll go back to where it was kicked from. Sharks have scored 12 points since we were gifted the turning point. What team is Stormers playing next week? For the Stormers next week, they've got Harlequins for the Champions Cup round 3. Watching those Ashes commentators are so entertaining. In Cameroon are the indomitable Lions. Very unlucky not to beat England at Italia 90. Hamish can sneeze like a vuvuzela. It's true. I haven't actually, without jinxing it, haven't sneezed too much over the last couple of days, which has been great. They're only 28 minutes through this contest, and it is a close scoring game. 15 points to 12. Morne van den Berg isn't very good at tactical kicking. He did have an absolute shocker. Was it last game for the Lions or the game before? It might have been the game before, but I remember watching it and thinking he's just lost it completely. But he also does have some very good moments, which I think does enough for him to stay in that Lions starting lineup. Someone in the pool is trying to do handstands, and they might have to check on them. We have good there. We went through so much last year, hey Hamish? As in for the Sharks, or just in general? I see from Manchester missing the Shark Tank. Says John there. Yeah, there's a decent crowd at this match. Kings Park Stadium. Hopefully, they do get their money's worth. To be fair, I think that after 28 minutes and 4 tries being scored, they probably already have. That low-scoring game last week up against the Bulls, the week prior. Feel like they would have been very nervous in the stands for that contest, but the Sharks, they managed to get the job done. Now ready for another scrum. And we have there, told you game is boring, showing kids in pools. Well, there was a stoppage. And I also do think that's more so the trying to sell the stadium rather than anything else. I don't think they went, I'm a bit bored, I'll film a child. It's not really the way that they think, I don't think. So Hamish, what industry do you work in? So normally as a labourer / builder is the main gig. But now, scrum feed now. The Sharks told to use it. And off to the right-hand side, Jordan Hendrickson for the grubber in behind. This one's going to be a decent one too. If this one curls just a little bit more, it could be a 50-22. But no, that one's going to sit up for Kuan Horn, side of his 22. Now back across, Kronya goes to Bronson Mills. He's under pressure, but he's managed to almost break through Andre Esterhuizen's tackle, which does not happen too often. Our Lions to romp through the next try. We know the Stormers play the All Blacks. That is in about 150 days or something like that, I think. Senegal are the Lions of Tauranga, says Nick. It's a good kick exit from Morne van den Berg again. And so far, 2026 is the 4th best year of my life. But a bit early to tell fully, of course. You must have had a good couple first days then. If that is the case, you know how I mentioned how I wasn't sneezing. Guess what just happened? And Kronya, says Ruth there. Now Bongi Manumbi ready to throw this one in for the Sharks. Only almost 30 minutes through this first half. Hardly split these two sides, although since the Sharks have had a little bit more of the possession, that is where the difference has been made. Now Oxenshire. Oh, he's lined up by Klabakanye though, who hangs on to him. Almost manages to turn it into a maul. Sorry, Agency, says Ruby, you just sneezed. Says Mohaddin. Now ready to put this ball up high. Grant Williams goes to Makazole Mapimpi. Chasing after it nicely. Oh no, not nicely taken by Angelo Davis. Looked like a knock on, but they're going to say play on in the Lions now. Starting to move this one around. Oosthuizen tries to sell the dummy and get round Ethan Hooker. That looked like he was in off the feet. For the Lions player too, they seem to be getting away with a little bit here. Now Jared Ken's ball on the outside of Killian Peku. Trying to cut back inwards. He gets round one. Steps round Emil van Heerden as well. Ethan Hooker getting in the breakdown. Now advantage. Going the way of the Lions. Ruan Fenta finds the offload. Keeps it low. Kronya goes to Kuan Horn, who drops the ball, but they'll go back for advantage. And the year just began. So much schoolwork to do, says Cats and Owls. Sharks forwards looking tired already. And I know you jinxed it by sneezing halfway through my sentence. Says Cool Story. Right, Grant Williams not rolling away penalty. But I think they want to check something here. I think it's the tackle from Klabakanye on Oxenshire. And whether or not there were arms involved. Okay, I think that's fine. I think it was just a collision there between the two players, but it is going to be an opportunity to add 3 points for the Lions here again. It is right out in front of the post, so I would say the easiest kick of the day so far. Yeah, Grant Williams trying to go low there. They're looking in the breakdown, trying to work out who gave the penalty away. It was Williams. Oh, come on, that's fine defence, says Albert. You shouldn't mute when sneezing. We want to rate each sneeze. You really don't. They'll sound quite similar, I do have to say. There's not a lot of variety. Great cricket player of all time must be Don Bradman. And then Sir Gary Sobers and third Shane Warne. Says Kevin, but that kick has gone over from the Lions, making the score now 18 points to 12. I don't think that's enough of a lead for them. Sharks side, they are dangerous enough. They've scored 2 tries so far in the contest, but now we need to kick this one off again. It will be Jordan Hendrickson. If Hamish never sneezes again, I'll go to another channel. Says cool story. Is it the sneezes that keep you here? Oh, nicely taken. Slapped back by the Sharks, but then a little hand on it from the Lions. When you're playing cricket again, we have our first game in 6 days' time for the second part of the season. I think we're 3 or 4 rounds in at the moment, but we've only played, I think it's 1 or 2 games. I think it's 2 matches, and one of those was rained off. So, yeah, we haven't played a huge amount of cricket as of yet for like the long form, which is 40 overs. We're all sneeze bags. Says Ruby there. Currently another scrum. 1 second, I am about to sneeze, so I will mute and pop myself off to the side this time. We are good. Now scrum ready to go. Currently 1 scrum penalty against the Lions in this contest, and they are the side that do not have the scrum feed in this case. Oh, it's not really moving. Sharks trying to force it. Right, they're being told to use it. It's a very even scrum between the 2 sides. Now Mucker's only Mapimpi tackled in the middle of the field. 25 out. Williams as the Hendrickson thought about the inside pass. Now off those to Estays, and who has knocked it on. Wasn't the best pass either, and very much so was going to be a great take if he could. Back to sneezing. Gooch was great, but not in that elite league, Ruth. Now going back for another scrum. Starting to see a few more of them in the contest, and they're actually quite even. At the moment, 300 viewers, 48 likes. Says My Tai Tours. Come on, South Africans, show some love. With a whole heap of emojis there as well. Yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that like button. Stays and almost got that pass. Where can you watch the game? So depending on where you are in the world will depend on your options, but for us here in New Zealand, it's the URC. That's the, URC TV, I should say. And we have got there, I'm Ashes for the Ashes. IPL has ruined cricket for me. Which is why I find the idea of Rugby 360 so disturbing. Says Robert. So I assume you're saying because of Bazball, right? In terms of the way that England play. Although the Rugby 360, I don't think it's going to change rugby that much. It's just going to change how much players can make from playing rugby. And also who's available at certain times. But, it's not quite the same as T20 in terms of compared to Test match. Unless they're going to go for shortened games, in which case you just got 7s. We have got their Sharks should have stayed home today. Losing to the Lions, how embarrassing. Well, they are at home for this contest. It's in Durban. And the game's not over yet. They got 46 minutes to get something going. They've dropped the ball 4 times, though, in the dry, so that's something that they won't be too happy about. Lions, they've dropped it 3 times. Just the 5 minutes remaining in the half. Pollock was South African. South African's the best, says Kevin. Currently sitting 12 metres out from their own line here, the Lions. Not really on the right part of the field at this stage. Kieran Horney will be looking for a big clearing kick. All the advantage in favour of the Lions would be something else that they're after. Instead, going off to Kieran Horn, going off to Kelly Mpeku. They're actually going to run it out from their own 22. Yeah, this is impressive pace from Mpeku again, and he's got that lethal step. Manages to pass it across. Great hands from Bronson Mills. Going for the grubber kick in behind and finds touch about maybe 10 metres out from the opposition line. That was very nicely done from the Lions, turning pretty much a defensive play into an attacking one. We have got their sad thing about the Hendricks, bro. They will never get into the box setup unless injury, says Splash TV. And the amount of depth that Rassi has at the moment that he can choose from, there are a lot of players in a similar boat to that. We saw Vincent Tachuka. He started a Springboks career in emphatic fashion, scoring 2 tries in his unofficial debut up against the Barbarians, scoring, I believe, in his official debut as well up against, I want to say it was Italy, and doesn't get a chance anymore, and maybe won't because of the players that they already have available in that regard. You know, there's going to be a lot of great South African sides, or a lot of South African players that just don't get the opportunity anymore. 25, the year of Sasha. See his cool story? He's going head-to-head with Andre Pollard in that Stormers versus Bulls game. That one's starting up in about an hour and 20 minutes' time. Going to be covering that one on the channel. That's going to be exciting. Covering more games today. Just checking if I need to restock Benji. That is my bar fridge's name. Does it at least have a face on the front of the bar fridge, Ruby, or is it literally just named that? But we've got the Stormers Bulls. That's taking place later on. Now, Oxenshire side of the 22 at the moment. I think the outcome of the 50th will depend on whether England spent the week in the nets or on the piss, says Nick. And of course, says Ruby. Kicked downfield now by the Sharks, taken nicely by Angelo Davids. Bounce past to Kjuan Horn. Tries to bump off the tackle of the try scorer Manuel Tachuka. Only 2 tries coming for the Sharks in their loose forward trio. And all of the tries coming from the Lions have been forwards. Nice recommendation, Amish. Sasha versus Pollard. Yeah, there's actually a lot of good head-to-heads. Oh, that's a massive knock-on. That looked a little bit high on Apalele Fasi, though. I think they're going to have to go back and check that one. But Bronson Mills again going to try and kick this one in behind. It's going to be bouncing awkwardly, nicely taken by Ethan Hooker. He's just 1 metre out from his try line. Lions counter-rucking over the top. He's going to have to try and put that one down, Ethan Hooker. It looks like the ball was forced, but they are going to say play on just for now. They're inside of their own in-goal area here for the Sharks. Oh, and a side entry penalty against the Lions. That is the worst thing that could have happened there. But I think they're also going to be checking this one upstairs to see the contact on Apalele Fasi. Hello, Hamish. Rude Boy is back in there as well from Rudy. Welcome in. You answer my question with a question. And also, Bulls have every advantage, says Splash TV, except for winning streak. At the moment, they are on, about a 4 or 5 match losing streak compared to the Stormers, who have won almost their last 10 games. When a 7's playing again, I missed it, so it's going to be the end of January, but not next weekend, the weekend after. There is actually the Challenger kind of equivalent of the series. Going to get to see the likes of Samoa playing. Who else is in that? I think South Africa women's side are actually going to be playing in that one. I haven't seen who's in their squad though, but if Nadine Ruiz is there, I'm sure they'll go very nicely. Right, they've got a recommendation of a yellow card here for the shot on Apalele Fasi. We see him drop that ball, came down. You know, he gets it very hard by Ruan Fenta, and that is a concern, definitely because Fasi's just come back from a concussion. Could have ended up with another one there. That's hard contact. Bulls can win today if they bring back Nuss. Showing the other impact. He does brace Fasi and his hands get around there, but he still really collided hard. I think this is going to be at least a yellow card for Ruan Fenta. I'm going to go to the park. I'll listen out for cheering at the stadium. Says, cool story. I actually don't know how they're going to rule this. Okay, there is head contact. He's doing serious foul play, but they're going to rule it as a yellow card for an off-field review. Does mean now that the Lions are going to be down to just the 14 men for the next 10 minutes, and that could be absolutely crucial. What time does the sun pop up in New Zealand around this time? It depends a little bit on where you are in New Zealand. But for us here, sunrise is 5:56 a.m. So it will be bright by the time it's halftime in that Bulls versus Stormers match. Surely that is red though. Says, I know they may say because of the movement or the fact that he was coming down, maybe, and the fact that their hands were up, they might just roll it as a yellow, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's upgraded to a red. Kick downfield from the Lions after the Sharks were unable to find touch. Now Sharks back in possession. Grant Williams Across the 100, Jacobs flicks it out the back door to Edward van der Merwe. Drop ball from Bongi on Benambi. Loses it backwards. Edward van der Merwe drops it backwards as well. But now creates a bit of a gap for himself. Offload to Apalele Fasi. Here's Jason Jenkins with him. He's decided to kick it in behind as Makazole Mapimpi chases after it. Claims the ball. Ball on the inside to Kolisi. Just needed that next pass but couldn't quite find it. They've got options just short of the try line. It's Emmanuel Tichuka getting closer. Looks like Vincent Tichuka wants it. They've got the penalty advantage as well here. Now Williams goes off to Jason Jenkins. He's on the line, and the Sharks, they have a chance to take the lead. Why don't they kick it away? Is these Rugby ready? Well, it might have been to concede just before the halftime break this stage. But yeah, the Lions, they were deep inside in their own half. Needed to find touch with it. Hello? Everyone Hamish is giving red cards. Am I? And we have got there 14 men on a dead man's chest. No Lions discipline. And when the ice runs out, turn out the lights and drop balls. Says Roof. But we're going to see here Jason Jenkins just kept control of the ball by the looks of it. We have got there. I like that idea. I'll have to think of names for my drinks cabinet and fridge in my boys' room, says Fleshin. Now the Sharks, they have a kick opportunity. We have got there, Hamish. Do you think there should be equal play in both genders? I assume you're saying equal pay rather than equal play, right? Because I guess they do both play rugby. They both have a World Cup. But now, is there a female URC competition, I wonder? I don't think there is there? Right, they're just showing it here again. Oh, he might have lost that, Jason Jenkins. They're just showing the replay. They've already taken the kick. Are they going to have another look at it? Okay, they're going to clear every try. Yes, Hamish giving red card, and Canada does it. Says Rugby ready and knock on that. Says hey no. Right, it's ruled as a try. It's also a misconversion though. So the score sits 18 points to 17 at halftime in this fixture. If this ball then goes out, which I think the Sharks would be keen to do, at least they can get some sort of moment going forward. No, it's going to be taken and put into touch by Grant Williams, and that is going to be halftime. 35 points between these two sides for the first 40 minutes. It's an interesting half, really, because the Lions, they had a lead of 15-0 in this contest. The Sharks, they then got themselves a bit of possession, scored the try of Emmanuel Tichuka. Also alongside that, let's see the try of Siu Kolisi and then Jason Jenkins. And we have there short knocking on Heaven's door, and I'm Brian a snook in the middle of Free State. This is better than I expected for the Sharks. And you, the referee, I luckily am not. I'd hate to be a referee, to be fair. Like, I think it would be one of the worst jobs to have in rugby. Like, it's bad enough being a player and having to deal with people always criticising you, but imagine being a referee. You just, like, you wouldn't be able to do your job without thinking about what your, like, repercussions are for your actions out there on the field. Females, says Kevin. And also Lions throwing it away. And also Sharks hunting Lions. Second half, come on Lions, says Ruth. And that there as well. There is now female URC on a female version, or there is no female URC, or a female version of the Prem. The Celtic Challenge is one being done between Ireland, Scotland, and the Welsh, plus Six Nations, and WRC and Lions Tour in 2027. Says Sean O'Farrell. And I mean, the support that the last World Cup got, I think that we are eventually going to see it taken off in terms of other competitions. We've seen the Sevens has been supported big time. What's up, rugby lovers and Borivos, Gorillas and Biltong Chowers? Says Xander. We're currently seeing a man in a high-vis vest telling people don't stand in front of the camera while he stands in front of the camera. It's windy in Cape Town, says Mohadeen. So yeah, probably similar to what we're seeing in the conditions of this game. We get to see in that next match another South African derby. That will be the Stormers versus the Bulls. That one kicks off in an hour and 10 minutes time. We're also going to be covering that one on the channel. In terms of the benches for these two sides, though, some handy enough players there. Sia Masuku, his kicking accuracy later on in this game could be absolutely crucial. They also have Jaden Hendrickse, Pepsi Butalezi's there, Nick Haddon too, so a little bit of extra support for that loose ball trio. You need to be a very special type personality to be an international rugby referee, says Ruby. And go to walk 17,000 steps today, getting ready for snook. 17,000 steps is quite a few. How many kilometers is that, Wild Lobster? Does it give you the kilometers as well, or just the steps? Because you could get strategic and tell your app that you take 1 centimeter steps, and then you walk 1.7 Ks, 17,000, that's how it works, isn't it? Or sorry, 1 millimeter steps, I guess it would have to be. Then you can drop down the distance more. Can I watch you? As in, on the streams? I'd assume so. And good afternoon, Hamish. Compliments of the season to you, says Philip. Same to you. Hopefully you have enjoyed Christmas and New Year's. I can't believe that we're already sitting 3:20 a.m. on the 4th here in New Zealand. How's it, team? Happy New Year, everyone. And sirloin steak, blue cheese on French loaf. And also, we have the best thing that happened on 2026 was England won the World Cup, says Kevin. Best thing that happened on 2026. Which competition? You talking cricket? You talking rugby league? Because I know that they are also in that Rugby League World Cup. You're talking football. That's also a World Cup taking place this year. Can you watch the game? Says Mohadeen. If you've got, I think in South Africa it would be on DSTV. Whereas for us here in New Zealand, it's on URC TV. And away Philip says Ruby. And there as well. But currently 18 points to 17. I see a person in a T-Rex costume and a person in a Sharks costume currently having a running race. 13 Ks, says Wild Lobster. Those are big steps. Can't believe it's 2026. And also we have got their lovely Fleshin, JPR Williams full of tries, says Ruth in there as well. But what we will do, ladies and gents, is we will let you know what is coming in the future for these two sides, for the Sharks. Next week, they have got their game up against another Sharks side, that is Sale Sharks, and that is the round 3 of the Champions Cup competition. Then round 4 takes place, the Sharks versus Clermont. That one's going to be a crucial one at the moment. The Sharks side, they are doing all right in their group, but because of that big loss to Toulouse, they do need a few more big wins, or at least one win out of those two to be able to get a decent spot in the round of 16. They've then got the Stormers twice, a couple South African derbies right at the end of January and early February, although that one is actually still January. If you guys are in South Africa. For the Lions, they have got their games of the Challenge Cup. They're taking on Lyon next week, and then also another French opposition the week after. 1 game at home, 1 game away. Of course, at least one of those has to go the Lions' way. Ospreys versus the Lions, and then the Lions taking on the Bulls. That is the, I believe it would be about the 4th or 5th South African derby that we do get to see of the year. But, so plenty more action for those two sides. In terms of the URC, there are plenty more games taking place next, I want to say next month almost, although late January we do get to see the next round, but the next 2 weeks are Champions Cup rounds, which means no URC. They are taking a break. Tongue twister. The tongue twister match next week. Says Sean. Yeah, I just have to remember to keep on saying Sale, because if I don't say Sale, then I could say the Sharks on attack, and no one would have any idea who I'm talking about. And record is 41,000, says Wild Lobster. I can watch you too, says Ander. And camping in Ceres, is that how you say it? Ceres? I probably mispronounced that. And Gauteng is now known as the Rainy Province. Absolute crappy summer so far, says Xander. Yeah, we've had a bit of a weird summer. It snowed just before summer here, which we're not used to, but we've had a lot of rain, we've had a lot of wind. We had a lot of hail this year. I think that we've had hail probably about 5 times throughout the last 2 months. Lions for the win, says Philip. And Lions versus Lyon, say it 5 times fast, says Ruby there. And Kyle Julius is in the chat as well. Welcome back, mate. Hope you're doing extremely well. And English Sharks, just to make it easier, says Sean O'Farrell. And there as well, they are just showing the highlights of the Spurs staff. One of the big moments in the later stages of the half was the fact that there was the yellow card for Ruan Fenta. It was for a high shot coming in on Apelele Fasi. And even here in South Africa, we had hail many times, says Ruby. Yeah, I swear hail, it's going to sound weird to say, but hail I didn't think used to be as common. Or maybe just as a kid you don't notice it too much. But like I swear we never used to get this much hail. I don't know why it's now a thing, but it is. We have that Hamish, hi Hamish and all, Happy New Year. Cold, rainy and frosty here, says Big Rig. How's life? Life is all right. At the moment, we've got a close South African derby taking place between these two sides, and just to make it that little bit better, we get to see even more action between the two sides, or two more South African sides, soon. The trading right now. And Hamish, for those who missed the first half, can I just quickly tell us what happened, boring or exciting? Says Xander. Wait, so you're going to say it, or do I say it? Because just to describe it, I think that first half, Lions started very well. They did a lot of things right, but then from there, the Sharks started getting possession, started getting opportunities on attack, and no back has scored throughout this game as of yet. 5 tries, 5 forwards who have been able to score it. I see Frankie Horn is back to doing the choo-choo motion. And we have evidence Hamish supports the Stormers, says Mohadeen. And how in South Africa is not the same as how in New Zealand, says Albert. In what regard? Is it like different because of the size? Or is it like, does it look different? I'd assume it's just ice falling from the sky, just like it is here. We have got there the trading right now, says Kyle. And also we have got there you were 95% right, Hamish, says Ruth. And luckily this match is being played in Durban. The Thunder and Lightning doesn't want to stop. Only 5 balls being bowled in a 5-over match, and Lightning struck again. You mean I have to put clothes on? We get hail in South Africa like Queensland. It writes cars off. Same here. We had a hailstorm, it was last month while we were playing cricket, and the cars got ridden off because of the size of the hailstones. They were probably about that. We have got their Horn take control now, says Ruth. And also my Colombian friend gets big mad at me every time I complain about the rain, says Big Rig. Happy New Year, by the way, says Cole. Same to you. Second half of this contest is only, I'd say, about 5 minutes away from starting up again. The two benches have to bring that impact. The Sharks, there were times where they looked a little bit tired, but I do think that was just because of the fact that they weren't getting a lot of the ball. Now that they've got it, starting to control this game a little bit more. Also, that yellow card. How can I send the evidence, says Mohadeen. Is it because I said the Stormers did well or something, Mohadeen? Or is it a quote? I don't mind a good quote if you put some quotation marks around it. Take it back, Hamish. Didn't know it hailed like that there. Yeah, we've actually had quite a few times in the last few years that the hail's been quite big. It was actually a very good time to be wearing a helmet because I was just going out to bat at the time that it hit. So, of course, everyone's running off the field trying to avoid getting clobbered by the golf balls. And I was sitting there with a helmet on, just hearing them all ting off the top of my head. But yeah, that game didn't end up finishing. We only got about, I think it was 5 overs through the match, and then it got abandoned. The Stormers aren't even here. Why are we mad at them? Says Big Rig. Hamish, do you believe the rain dance can take away this rain? If you say yes, please show us how you rain dance. I've never done a rain dance in my life. But at the same time, I guess, I don't know if it works. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. Hard to say. But no, I think normally I'm just inside when it rains. And I just wait for it to stop raining. Stormers did okay, says Ruth. Yeah, the Stormers are doing all right at the moment. They are sitting undefeated. Bulls need to do it later, says Ruth. The one thing that I don't want is that Stormers-Bulls game to have rain. I feel like that would really hurt it. I'll be down for a rain dance. Sounds fun, says Big Rig. They are just firing up the crowd for the second half. Still looks like a little bit of wind they are dealing with in the second half of this fixture. And just get the umbrella out, says Ruth there. The short version of my grandson's Welsh name is a bad word in Afrikaans. That's unfortunate. Centurion cricket game had weather issues today, says Albert. Yeah, we can hardly get through a game at the moment in cricket here. We had our last game was rained off, which was unfortunate because we actually got our highest total in the first innings, but it just counts as match abandoned. Then the game before that, we were defaulted to. Game before that, it was a bye because of a team that defaulted already. And then the game before that, it rained. So we're really not having a good run. When you're doing is that Leinster or Leicester? Because they are both in the Champions Cup. Leinster La Rochelle overlaps, unfortunately, next week with the match taking place between Sale Sharks and Sharks. So that one will be tricky to do. And then if you're talking about the Leicester Tigers, they are playing Bayonne as the late game on next week's Champions Cup round, but I'm not sure if I'm doing that game yet. Just imagine this match was played in Johannesburg, Hamish. Would have waited forever for the match to start. Says Mornay, and you can dance if you want to. And we consider cricket to be a rain dance in England, says Nick. And he's here this weekend, and we're making 25 litres of yogurt now. Then we're going to have a braai while the Stormers win, says Bruce. But now, second half just about to get underway for these two sides. So much talent out there on the field at the moment. Although one less player, Ruan Fenta, he will not be returning for the next 8 minutes or so. But there is also a chance he won't be returning for the rest of this match, depending on what the yellow card is ruled as, whether or not it gets upgraded. I think we're just waiting to find out. I hope they tell us at halftime. I think the second half is going to be wild. Duckworth-Lewis method still in use. It is if they reach a certain number of overs. I think we only bowled about 7 overs to them, hit them 3 down. So we were actually looking quite good, but then the rain just hit too hard. But you need, I think in our competition, it's either 15 or 20 overs to be able to rule it as a match. Remains a yellow, Hamish, says Kevin. Hi, Bruce. Happy New Year, brother. And in rugby, they allow rain, at which point would rain be too much to call off the game? Must go until lightning or hail to stop. Pretty much, yeah. If there's lightning, they stop the game and delay it. If there's rain and it's flooding, they might consider stopping a game, like if they want to unfield or flood the field. I'm just 24. You and me are best friends, says Mohaddin. That's an early penalty for the Sharks. This is a chance to take the lead now if they want to go for the 3 points. I'm not going to lie, I'm slightly confident versus the Stormers now that we have gone with the 6-2 split. And then I can say, or they can never say the Stormers will beat us. Says Hayno. Did you win in cricket yet? We've won a couple games. We had a good chance of winning that one that got rained off, unfortunately. And it might be the difference between us making the semi-finals of the competition and missing out, because they were one of the sides that were lower ranked. But we'll hopefully get there. Now, Bongi and Manumbi ready to throw it in. This is a great chance for the Lions, for the Sharks. Only sitting the 5 metres out from the try line. They start to get this one rolling forward. We've got to remember, no Ruan Fenta means one less forward out there on the field for the Lions to be able to help them in this rolling maul situation. A pass across Andre Estes and just runs crash ball straight at the opposition. Grant Williams goes across to Emmanuel Tichuka. He's already scored 1 try in this game. Where's his brother? That's the question, because he would love to score 1 too. Oxenshare going to be dragged down just short of the try line. Sio Kolisi, he thought about going himself. And tell you what, that looks a bit soft if he has managed to break through there. They're saying maybe a knock on. At least the Lions were asking for it. Now, Handro Jacobs, he's 1 metre short again. Back up to his feet there, Vincent Tichuka. That is very close, and they are over again, the Sharks. It is Emmanuel Tichuka who scores his second try of the contest. And this is punishing at the... Hang on, they're going to go back for that knock on, I would say. Sio Kolisi, he was close to the line, and I believe he did have a little fumble. Okay, referee has said the reason they are checking is for serious appeals from the opposition. The wind has died down a bit. I don't T20 cricket final whisper Dexter 6 hours to constitute a game of T20 cricket, says Kyle. And also if the Stormers win, it's 10 games, says Mohaddin. I like a good rolling ball, simple but effective. But then I am British. There's Big Rig, right? They actually had to go the whole length of the field. They're checking it. Yep, drop ball from Sio Kolisi. This one will be ruled out for Emmanuel Tichuka. Won't quite have his double yet. Happy New Year, everyone. Says Martin, same to you. Right, is there separation between Sio Kolisi and the ball? Yes, there is. It is knocked on. And that is going to be no try. There was no advantage either, so it does mean that the Lions will now have themselves the scrum just out from their own try line. Thanks for coming, Lions, says Ruby. And backwards no, says Hayno. I'd call that one as a knock-on for Sio Kolisi. End up fumbling that ball just out from the try line too. Ouch, says Ruby. It's going to be now the scrum feed for this Lions side. They are playing with one less forward. They're on the field at the moment, so they might consider chucking a... Oh, hang on. Hang on. TMO's checked something else here. Oh no. Okay. The yellow card's upgraded to a red card. So Ruan Fenta will not return in this game, ladies and gentlemen. Kirtley Arneson would have played in today's match. He got injured in the captain's run out. That's Stormers is complaining, says Mornay. But yeah, it's going to be a red card for Ruan Fenta now. Due to his collision with Apalele Fasi. So the Lions, they managed to survive that onslaught from the Sharks on attack. But now they have to play with 14 men out there. I don't know, says Haino. And as well, they are just showing the reason that he is off. It seems a bit harsh, no? Says Big Rig. It's one of those ones that could easily have gone either way. Is it a 20-minute one? I think so. I think it is just the 20 minutes. That can feel like a long time. They have already served half. Or in fact, no, they've served less than half the time at this stage. Ball's fed in. Mornay Vandenberg grabs that ball off the back. That was close to a knock-on from him, but Chris Smith able to kick this one back downfield. Let's go into touch. Stormers going to embarrass the Rasi Springbok coaching team. Stormers by 43. Says Manu, although by the sounds of it, the Springboks coaches haven't got there yet. They just showed a guy with glasses on in a Lions polo. I think I heard the name Dahl or something like that, but I'm not actually sure who that was. Someone for the Lions may be able to tell me. Grant Williams now, sitting 30 metres out from the line. The Sharks trying to get something going. Sia Kolisi goes across to Vincent Tuchuka, takes a hard collision with Asanati Klabakanye. He's actually had some really hard carries today. Vincent Tuchuka hasn't got a lot of reward for them. A lot of the time it's only making a metre or two. Fast he can still walk. Can't be a full red. So here's Albert. No, they were there the whole week, mate. So here's Martin now. Step from Kolisi, almost through again. The Springbok skipper now going short side. Apalele Fasi kicking him behind. That ball's just going to roll on too far. I'll go back to where he kicked it from. Red card is a pity. Ruins a good competition. Card should be replaced with docked points. Punish the transgressor. But keep the competition fair. So here's Neil. I haven't heard of anyone thinking about maybe like saying you lose points. I know that there was like a while ago people were saying, oh, they should just fine the players who get the cards. But then they get to keep playing. But I guess it's the tricky one because like if you've uppercutted a bloke, should your team just be docked a few points or should you be off the field? It looks like Makazole Mapimpi may have a sore knee at the moment or something in the leg. Hopefully nothing too serious for him, but 44 minutes through. And the score is still in favour of the Lions, but 74% chance that the Sharks go on to win this game is how the odds see it. 25% chance that the Lions can hold on. They would probably need another try or two at least. Sharks, they are only one try away from their bonus point. Lions, they are 2 away. Both of these sides with where they are sitting on the table, the Lions are 9th, Sharks in 14th. Bonus points could be crucial. No taking points would be more controversial. So here's Kevin. The Lions move it forward, boys. They have got themselves the free kick at scrum time. They will well and truly take that. Chris Smith now able to kick this one downfield. Won't be able to find touch with it. Good idea. Lose a bonus point or deduct 3 points from the log. Says Phillip. Oh, drop ball from Apalele Fasi at the back. Back across. Imagine winning toll the 80th minute and an incident and lose the match. Says Kevin. Oh, they've been penalised there. The Lions trying to rip that ball out of the breakdown illegally. They had already formed the ruck, says the ref. Apalele must retire. Isn't he only like 25 or something? 1 second. Apalele Fasi. Yeah, he's 27. He's a bit young for retirement, I would say. He has had a couple head knocks along the way, though. He has just come back from a concussion. 46 minutes through, Makazole Mapimpi just trying to still walk off that injury, but it looks like they are going to make the change. Jaden Hendrickson makes his way on. One's going to be booted into touch. And idea 2, says Annie. A line out throw. Afasi is best 15 in South Africa, says Martin. Vincent Chuka, he's looking pretty tired at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if he also gets subbed in the near future. Definitely with the fact that they've got Pepsi Puta and also Nick Haddon, 2 replacements off the bench. The Sharks need to fix up. I want my points on Super Brew. Says, hey, no. Is that why you were hoping Sia Kolisi's one was a knock back rather than knock on? Out of curiosity. Vili must retire. Says Martin. He kind of has. He half by has from international rugby by the looks of it. Another big rolling maul here from the Sharks. Still moving in the right direction. That one is majorly going forward. That was lucky. Let off for the Lions. No try Sharkies. And Sia Kolisi will be man of the match. Off to the left-hand side, Jaden Hendrickse goes to Oosterhuizen now. Hendrickse, the other brother, manages to get it away to Upper Lily Fassi with a pass on the outside. Williams cutting back inwards. He's playing as a winger. Edward van der Merwe dragged down 5 metres short. Now Andre Esterhuizen. I feel like there's about 2 or 3 players I was about to say that deserve to get themselves a try. Esterhuizen has just dropped that ball though. And Hamish just got back from camping. Camping in South Africa is a natural aphrodisiac. Says, how's it, my brew? And also we have got the other Sharks, the Great White Sharks, or the Great Black Sharks. We've got the best 15 in South Africa is Kwaka Smith. Says Ruby, and who's the oldest player? Is in like playing in this game or just in general around the world of rugby? Right, time is off again here. What one is going to be checked now? Bunch of useless players, the Sharks. Says Haino. Just praising Morne van den Berg for what he's been able to do throughout this game. And mate, I'm not sure you're using the word aphrodisiac correctly, says JP. I was just impressed that I was able to say it, to be fair. And Oxford's the best 15, says Neil. And super stop-start this half. Yeah, hasn't been very smooth as of yet. Here's Andre Esterhuizen again. Starting to target around the ball. There it is. Another knock on. And Esterhuizen punches the ground out of frustration. They know exactly how to make that man drop the ball by the looks of it. What they're doing is they're sending him one guy kind of high-ish, like around the shoulders, and then the other man's just getting in there, ripping that ball out of his hands. Where Kwaka Mani playing, both in Japan at this stage, and come on the Sharks, says Martin, Ruan Fenta been red carded. Hopefully it is a 20-minute red card. And yeah, that means that he's still got another 10 minutes or so remaining. Just as he goes to ground, that ball just knocked out of the forearms of Andre Esterhuizen. That is about his 3rd or 4th knock-on of this game. So very uncharacteristic of that man. Great commentary from you, bro. From Ireland, Dion and Danian. And yes, I do appreciate you both tuning in. I don't know what that accent was when I said appreciate, but yeah, greatly appreciative of you being here. Now Hendrickse passes across to Edward van der Merwe. They're inside of their own half, looking for the 50-22. That was close. In fact, was it close enough to go into the 22? I think it's a 50-50 at the moment. Natalia is a great aphrodisiac. On DuPont, of course. Can't hear anything in the park. I was talking to the other guy, search what aphrodisiac means. Says JP. Now, ready to throw this one in. I'm sitting 22 metres out from the line for PJ Botta. One moment, I am about to sneeze. 1 second. We are good. Now line out throw for PJ Botta. He didn't actually manage to get it in the time of sneezing, but nicely taken by Frankie Horn at the line out. He's actually been one of the target men for the Lions throughout this game. The Lions are still leading here too. Johan Ackerman's son playing against his father today. Ruan playing for the Stormers. Johan coaching the Bulls. Ruth, wish I could make the same comment about your beard, says Kevin. It's gone in a weird direction, hasn't it? But another penalty. This time it's going to be obstruction against Jaden Hendrickse. The Lions get themselves the penalty. And this is just keeping them in the game for now. There is still that yellow card that turned into a red. They are playing with the 14 men out there on the field. That one has been kicked into touch. Cheers, everyone. Bless you, Hamish. Cheers, Ruth. I see it now. Angelo Davids here. Just a bit of obstruction from Jaden Hendricks. I wasn't quite in the right place. Now line out throw for the Lions. And oh, now they can reach touch. They're inside of the 22 of the Sharks side. Terrible Bulls. Says Martin, who has the yellow card. The Lions do. Ruan Finta ended up getting himself yellow card and turned into a red. That's another knock on, this time from the Lions. PJ Bota, unable to take that one. I give that man a bell. Samish doesn't drink though. And he's sleeping with the Shongololos. Doesn't quite get me in the mood. And go, says Martin. Yeah, at the moment, very stop-start this second half. In fact, I think it's become more stop-start ever since it was mentioned about 5 minutes ago that it has been stop-start in this game. But both sides really struggling to be able to hang on to possession. The referee just saying to control the space. Edwin Swart has made his way on. That is for Bongi or Manambi. South African teams play better with 14. Says Philip, and to be fair, they haven't conceded too often with the 14. Other than, I think, right at the start, Jason Jenkins scored. That was after the yellow card, wasn't it? But outside of that, you're doing all right. That's going to be both front rows going straight down. And that is something they need, or that needs time. Sounds like a plan for the weekend. And Shongalongo is South African for millipede. What's the difference between a millipede and a centipede? That's a question that I actually very much don't know the answer to, but would be interested. It'd be something to do with how they use their legs or something, I'd say. Any rugby in New Zealand today? Not like the Super Rugby side of things is still a couple months away from starting up. Probably just some random rugby taking place, but probably nothing of the bigger competitions. About 1,000 times the amount of feet. So how many feet does one need? Because centipede, I always think of centimetre, and then millipede, I think of millimetre. The amount and length of the legs. A millipede has 1,000,000 legs, obviously, but 1,000,000 legs is a lot. That thing's long, if that's the case. Now, going forward, Angelo Davids. Oh, great low tackle made by Grant Williams there, chopping him down now. That's a forward pass from Morne Vandenberg. And he ruled us backwards though, and Upper Lily Fussy has to claim it inside of his own 22. Now turns into a rolling maul. That is great work from the Lions. They've stopped that ball from coming out, and they get themselves the penalty. And about 1,000 correct. Says Ruby, centipedes eat insects, millipedes eat plants. So if they eat insects, the centipede would be more likely to eat a person, right? Even though, of course, that wouldn't normally happen. Centipedes bite and millipedes crap themselves. Oh. And a century, 100 legs. Come on, guys. Cool story, Sharks. Can't wait for Springboks versus the All Blacks. Yeah, we get to see it 4 times this year. Which is quite ideal. Centipedes sting. Can be pretty bad. Millipedes don't sting, but they are in your potato crop. Oh, okay. Who knew so many people had great knowledge about insects on these streams? Centipedes are way, way scarier. Definitely the human one. We have got the Hamish versus the All Blacks in the final. I think South Africa 3, New Zealand 1 in that series. Another scrum feed taking place. Currently 55 minutes through. This game has reached its grinding halt. We knew it was coming at some point. Hopefully it picks back up. This one does wear on. And the Sharks are playing like millipedes. Says JP, but that ball's going to be fed in now. Available for the Lions once more. Bronson Mills gets the 10 metres out from the try line. Across to the right-hand side. Another advantage for offside. Going against the Sharks. They're their own worst enemy at the moment. I expect to only eat after the Stormers give the Bulls a clap. Says Philip. Edwell needs to improve to help draft my rugby team. Help my draft rugby team. And I think centipedes can give you and gangrene if they bite your leg. Don't know if it's true. Do we have centipedes in New Zealand? I don't often see a centipede. Oops. Are there centipedes in New Zealand? Yes, including the large, impressive giant centipede, which can grow quite long, about 20 to 25 centimeters. That's a big insect. I don't know about that. The Lions need a turnover and an interception try. Sharks kit looks like fancy pajamas. Says Albert. Now head one sport. He's going to have this important line-out throw. Or sorry, they'll have an important line-out defence. Yeah, stolen by Vincent DeChuka. That was the perfect time to get the ball back. Now, this is rolling forward quite nicely. Q1 Horn has to clean the ball up for the Lions as they sit about 40 metres out from their own line, passed over the top. Here comes Angelo Davids. He'd be relatively fresh. We haven't seen him with the ball a lot throughout this contest. Manages to get through Jaden Hendrickson. 35 metres out. Morne Funenberg popping it in behind. Bronson Mills going for another chip. One's going to pull up inside of the 22. Nicely taken by Grant Williams. Fires it back across to Fussy. And that ball's going to stay in the field of play. Bronson Mills goes across to Chris Smith, getting an attack going. This is a massive chance, but Q1 Horn, I feel like he should have cut the other way there rather than inwards. And a few players on the outside that they could have potentially used. Chris Smith sells a dummy. They weren't expecting him to run. And the penalty goes the way of the Sharks. Hunter and Predator lesson for the Lions. Sharks will teach you how OG Predators attack, says Eunuch. And according to Google, yes, the centipede could eat human. But there's hardly any scenarios where it would ever occur. And also, do you got snake parks? We have like snakes in, I think, zoos, but no snakes that are just chilling, or at least they shouldn't be. But that's going to be a foot race there. Edward Fundermerva wins it and scores the try for the Sharks. Edward Fundermerva, oh, he's dancing. He is a happy man at the moment as he has hardly touched the ball throughout this whole match. Get prisoners in New Zealand? We have quite a few of them. And there are some scary spiders in New Zealand, I think. And also go the Sharks, says Martin, and Stormers the best, says Julian. 22 minutes remaining in the Sharks. They've taken the lead. And yes, says Haino. And they're as well firmly behind the Sharks in this contest. It's very nicely done. Angelo Davids, I mentioned how he should be relatively fresh, but in that foot race, just wasn't quite winning it there. And come on, Lions, deep fry those shark fillets. And that's ball game, says Big Rig in there too. Edwell Fundermerva doing some celebration, dancing after getting it. And Hendricks, Jordan missing away to the side. Keeps the score at 22 points to 18. And that is also the bonus point now in this contest for the Sharks. They have brought up the 4 tries. Hello, Hamish. A happy New Year. Filled with rugby to you and everyone in the chat. Says Sebastian, I've heard a rumour, Sebastian, that you want to go to Thailand. But also Happy New Year. And Jordan can't really kick. Says Haino. A Fundermerva try. The Lions now just walking up the halfway line. They're a little bit slower getting going there. They are just talking about the man of the match contender. Sia Corlisi, he's done very well throughout this game. Scored himself another try. He scored about 3 or 4 weeks in a row in this contest, but this one's going to be kicked off. Nicely taken by Vincent DeChuka. It's a bit of an underrated game for Vincent DeChuka. Manuel has managed to score. Hamish, I'm less stressed this year. And you? Nah, full of stress for this year. I have no idea what I am doing for the whole year, but I have been trying to plan it out, or at least have some sort of idea. But there's so many things on in the world of sport this year, and I can't cover it all, which is quite sad. Thailand is a great time, says JP. The rumour is true. The only reason it hasn't happened yet is because I don't trust myself. And did that try come from Andre or Hooker kicking it ahead? Says Albert. I think it was Fundermerva who kicked it ahead, wasn't it? I think he did a kick himself. Oh no, maybe he was chasing after it. That one's going to be kicked in behind. Looks like there's another injury maybe for Ruben Schoolman here. Now Williams, back across to the right-hand side, New Zealand Football World Cup watch along. We might have to try it, although they did do very well the last World Cup that I didn't cover, although that's because the last World Cup they were in, I was a lot younger. I was at primary school. Now nicely taken under the high ball for Kronya. Yeah, looks like limping off the field at the moment for Scorman. Now rush defence, Bronson Mills going off to the side, passes on, Jared Kens, Angelo Davids, he has to leapfrog over his own teammate. Now Jaden Hendricks trying to win the penalty and does give away another penalty. It's not moving away. Hamish, who would win between South Africa and Cameroon? I see Cameroon as slight favourites for that game, but South Africa, to be fair to them, have gone all right throughout the matches. I haven't really seen what Cameroon have done, but it could be a close one. They had a lot of their games last AFCON too that they went to penalties, didn't they, South Africa in the playoffs? Hamish, you are a South African rugby lover, says Martin. I am also just a rugby lover in general. And it's just good to have rugby back already in the early stages of the year. And don't forget your leopard print G-string when you go to Thailand. Now ready to throw it in. 5 metres out from the line here for the Lions. And they're going to be halted for Morne Brandon is able to throw this one in. Khaleesi must stay in Durban. What is not to love about South African rugby? Here's Ruby. Yeah, Khaleesi going to the Stormers. He's probably been one of those guys that have actually helped them get back on the right track in terms of the last few weeks. Like, his amount of impact that he's been able to have. And I know that some people do give him a lot of stick for what he does in the URC, but honestly, he's been impressive big time. Oh, drop ball from Edward Vandenberg, or was it? Vincent Tachuka not quite going to win the foot race with Morne Vandenberg. That's one of the reasons I don't trust myself, Ruth. And I hope Sia stays in Durban, although it is already confirmed that he is going to the Stormers. So, yeah, massive, you'd have to say a massive steal for the Stormers heading into next season. So we'll go like this. We'll go like that as well. Steroids is not unique to South African rugby, mate. Oh, I see. I was wondering what was going on. I didn't see that original comment from, is it Artemisia? Is that how you say it? And also we've got there, that's what. And a little bit of stress is good for the calf muscles though. Can't compete on an even playing field. Why bother? Absolute scumbags really, eh? Who hurt you is my big question. Now Grant Williams going off to the right-hand side. Apalele Fasi kicking this one up high. Chasing after it now. Nicely taken. Manages to get through. And grabbing himself. Chislin Colby must come to the Stormers. There were rumours that he was going to at one point, wasn't there? But I don't think it ever really happened, mate. Just double check the Bulls. Games lineups. Says Haino. Now Kyoan Horn. Back down the middle of the field once more. That one's bouncing steeply. Side of the Sharks 22. But Jordan Hendrickson runs it out. That's gone off the side of his boot big time. Falls into field of play though. And a mark called by Angelo Davids. Let's just take a little bit of a breather here. I see what's not to love about South African rugby. I'm just telling it how it is. And also, I was a 2004-2005 Stormers fan. It's called Story Sharks. It's called Story Sharks. Did I say that around the right way the first time? I may not have. We play Rasi in South Africa, not rugby. And difference in leagues per segment, plus centipedes have venom. Says Sean O'Farrell. They had Afiri, a guy from 2019 World Cup team, banned. There's actually been a lot of players around the world banned for steroid use, not just like in South Africa. Like, we've got a really bad case of, it's just gone dead. Like, there's been a lot of players in New Zealand at domestic level who have been popped for steroids, I think in the hundreds, unfortunately, which is a shame because, of course, the more that happens, the lower levels, the more dangerous it becomes. And tell me another country that had a player popped, not specifically in that World Cup, but like I mentioned, New Zealand have had some pretty bad numbers recently. We should have Senegal versus Egypt, Algeria versus Morocco in the AFCON semi-finals. No idea what will happen from there. Says Sebastian. BS? No, there's been like articles about it, which is always brought up whenever a New Zealander brings up like steroids elsewhere. They always go, but look at this list. My mum's friend told me to shut up in the early 2000s because I was screaming at the TV during a Stormers game. There you go. And Bulls will get a big surprise. Currently, I think we've got a surprise coming in this game too, because 4 points difference, 14 minutes remaining. That is more than enough time, although the Sharks have got themselves the possession here. Democratic Republic of Congo are going to beat Algeria. I'm sure that the Chichuka brothers will be happy with that. Both men born in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And Butch Jones was a machine. Now Gunyane making his way onto the field. That is for Oxen Shoes. Had a good solid 65 minutes for his first game back for the Sharks. Both those players were great. Now 30 metres out. Hendrickse puts it in. That's an ugly scrum. Both sides standing up big time, but the advantage goes the way of the Sharks. And that's going to be the penalty that could give them a 7-point lead. That'd be a great upset, Hano. Says Sebastian. Oh, they're going for the corner. So once again, they have decided against going for the 3 points. It's actually not the first time. I played with pros. I grew up with them. I played alongside. I'm telling you now, stories is not even the way. You just got to grind out the house. That's bad for your body. Yeah, see, that's the other side of things. Like, people think just because, like, steroids, they can help with certain things, but they actually do impact you in other ways too. Like, it's not all good, unfortunately. And most people find that out too late. But now going off to the right-hand side, Andre Esterhuizen with another step. Oh, he's been hit a little bit high from Kwama. Now Edouard Swart moving forward just that little bit more. I'm looking around. I feel like we need a Vincent Tachuka try. I've been praising him all throughout this game, even though he hasn't actually done a huge amount with the ball in hand, other than those just hard crash runs that no one else wants to make. He's done it again there. A couple extra metres made for Tachuka. Now Hendricks, that ball slapped away by the Lions. I believe that will be the knock-on. Now we have the Iowas. Remember when John Jones tested positive for steroids and for the third time and Nevada pulled his license, then UFC moved the show like a week before it happened to California. We have got the so corrupt that they not only didn't punish him, they literally fished for a state that wouldn't care, says Big Rig. And also Montgomery won't make the Springbok team today. He's probably a bit old, isn't he? Peter Steph Totoy. As best rugby player ever in South Africa to play rugby, says Martin. But the Shark supporters happy at the moment. 12 minutes remaining in this game. And once again, it just feels like something's going to happen. I've played with guys like Tawera Kurbalo. You know how he got to the top. Consistent hours, affecting. In my opinion, steroids is totally irrelevant. It actually makes you worse. But now, scrum going up. And Montgomery had a kick around, and South Africa has the most competitive rugby scene in the world, from youth scene up to the pros, so it's natural for steroid usage to be more common. And also, Stormers Stormers won't lose anything this season, says Philip there. Yeah, they're doing well at the moment, to be fair. Looks like some pickle juice is coming out for the cramp they are dealing with at the moment. I think it was the pickle juice. I think he's had his mouth guard put back in. Thoughts on Munster's majestic performance last night. Certainly wasn't one of their best. But at the same time, I'm still picking Ulster to be top 4. And I would be very surprised if they don't make it to the semi-final. Was the youngest player of the Springboks. Is it in their current setup? I think Ethan Hooker might be close to youngest, isn't he? They've got the 5 players to choose from for man of the match. I think that Seal Kolisi is probably front running at the moment. Unless the Lions get the win, then we might... I don't know if Vandenberg... He's had some good moments, but I don't know if he's had the best kicking game at times. Stormers too strong and too much skills for a useless Bulls team. I was missing out on the top 4 though, says Hayno. Well, to be fair, I think they're making it semi-finals is what I more so meant. So if they're in the quarterfinals, they're knocking out one of the sides in the top 4. That's my prediction. So when people say you guys are on it too, it's like, bruh, nah, you don't need that BS. I know it. I was okay. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I topped try scorer in my first 15. But I just don't need Royce. And also Piers grew up in Pretoria. Man of the match average is the best. Says Mohaden, that's going to be another penalty advantage. Right, penalty straight out in front of the post. Right out in front, 10 metres, easy tap over. Apalele Fasi wants to go for a quick tap though. And now they decide against it. I don't know why my arm is extended out towards my screen. Good day, Hamish. Hope the Sharks win, but they suffer to get a good lead. Says Ben. Yeah, they kind of grinded out that win over the Bulls. This game, it looks like it's going to be a little bit similar. This last 10 minutes, if they do then score here, it should be enough to get the job done. But the Lions will be so disappointed that they were 15-0 up after about 12 minutes of this game to now sit only the extra 3 points from there. They haven't got a bonus point on the board in terms of 4 tries or more. They do have a bonus point for being within 7 currently. They could actually walk away from this game with 0 points if they aren't careful. And the Sharks will get the full 5. Boost themselves right up into that kind of 10th-ish position in terms of the overall standings. And now, fed in by Jaden Hendricks, 7 metres out from the line. Big push from the Lions, and they get the penalty in their favour, winning it against the feed. That is a massive push coming there from Aref Skuman in the front row. Morne Brandon as well as Conrad van Vuren also need a little bit of impact there. I know for a fact no one at my school was on roids, but I hear South African schoolboys is riddled with it. Says Artemisia. I think it depends on the school, because I know that, like, once again, it's like dependent on where you are. It's a bit like pretty much everything. It's like centipedes. You know, are there centipedes in the region? Maybe. Are there centipedes up north? Sometimes. I think it's one of those ones that just depends on the group and who gets around with who. That's a massive push at scrum time. How many minutes? Just the 10 minutes remaining. In fact, now we're down to 8.5. And also, if the Bulls win tonight, then it's put down to excellent Springbok coaching. Says YZ. And you became a centipede aware. Drugs are like centipedes. Life lessons from Hamish, says Big Rig. Yep, Hasim Pede. He's on the field, the youngster. Did brilliantly for the under-20s in the most recent World Championship. That's going to be a double knock-on. Means that they will have to go back. Another scrum this time in favour of the Sharks. It's all using up plenty of time. And at the moment, they don't really need any more points. The only thing, of course, getting more points for the Sharks does is increase that points differential and fully secure this win. They won't sleep the same anymore. Says JP. Yeah, all they need to do is just make sure they hang on to this lead. Can we have a Sydney test prediction? Who wins? How many days will it go? Top run scorer and top wicket taker? It's really hard to tell, isn't it? Because, like, I'd love to see a match go to the 5th day. What's the weather forecast? That may be the only way we get a 5-day test. I have to say, though, in terms of entertainment, like, the fact it only went 2 days, but, like, you just couldn't take your eyes off the game. I feel like the match prior, that last day, was really good as well. I think we'll last 1 day. Says, hey, no, hopefully we get a little bit more than that. Have to try and get a road. Oh, that one's almost come out the same entrance. Sharks under pressure at scrum time, but they do get themselves the penalty advantage. Stark 6 wickets. We have got there, what are these red centipede things everywhere in Durban? They make a stinky sweet smell if you get too close. You may be what school probably, but New Zealand, even when you go to one of the New Zealand best schools, Hamilton Boys High School, my bro was most capped for that first 15. He was just a machine. He could 50-metre conversion at 12, no lie. Yeah, see, I was never blessed with a long boot. But those people who you just witnessed, like, just kicking it over for fun from 50 out, like, my groin could never. There could be a brief thunderstorm on day 1, apparently, says Sebastian. And other than that, it's relatively clear, Sebastian. I'm thinking like a day 4 might be when it ends. But I hope it's day 5. Like, I just want a really long test match. Couple centuries would be great. And that centipede comparison, I will live on. I'll be using it. Says And yeah, it was a full circle moment. I decided since we've learnt the knowledge of centipedes and millipedes earlier on, might as well use it. And now the Sharks have to use it for their rolling maul, sitting 10 metres out from the try line. I do see there that Pepsi Buthelezi made his way onto the field. I'm not sure who for. I'm looking around trying to see Sio Kolisi, see whether or not he was taken off, or whether it was Vincent Tachuka, but it is one of the two as Emmanuel is no longer out there. Nick Haddon, and the ball up again. Talking about the patience that is needed now for them. Right, Vincent Tachuka is the loose forward going the 80. Now, Jaden Hendricks, he reaches out, not just short of the line again. Has he got someone with him? It looks like Ethan Hooker was going to go for it now around the side, just 1 metre short again. Surely they get over here. Vincent Tachuka, he is half a metre short. That man has been probably one of the more unlucky players throughout this whole match when it comes to scoring tries, as Pepsi Buthelezi tries to get over. He's held up. Wasn't quite the right choice there, as they are just short. I watched the 438 game over the other day. Gibbs on a hangover, legendary, and go the Sharks, says Martin. How close to the try line? They were like inches. In that case, Vincent Tachuka went for the pick and go, and then from there, Pepsi Buthelezi tried to follow it up with one of his own and just ended up going down. Or actually ended up going up and getting held up in that scenario. But currently 4 minutes remaining in this contest. Taken now around the halfway line. Comes up in Lele Fasi. We'll mention this South African derby is close. There's another one taking place in only 50 minutes time that we are going to be covering on the channel as well. Andre Esterhuizen wrestled down, another knock on. That man's dropped the ball 5 times. His fingers do not seem to exist today. We have got there, come on the Lions, is Mohreddin, and has given the Lions another opportunity to get something going now for the final 4 minutes. They've got the knock-on advantage, but this has been one of the worst games we have seen from Andre Esterhuizen in a Sharks kit. Rolling it back, it's Hassim Pede. The advantage is now called as over as he kicks it downfield. It's going to be contestable. Kelly Mpeku trying to go up for it, but Jordan Hendrickson manages to claim it. Another error. There's going to be another advantage over now. Charging back to claim it. It is Grant Williams. Gets round Hassim Pede. Now Kwama making the low tackle there on Williams. They're inside of their own 22 at the moment. Quite a bit of ground to make up. Who's on attack at the moment? The Sharks are inside of their own 22, having to kick this one downfield. But the Lions were the side that looked like they were a little bit more attacking in that moment. That one's found touch. Right, play on's the call. They've decided to take it quickly there. The Lions moving it across to Richard Krill. He's made his way off of the bench. Tackle low by Edward van der Merwe. Pede future Springbok. Now off to the left. Now Bronson Mills bumps off Ethan Hooker. They're looking for that important steal at the moment for the Sharks, and it may be what wins them this game, but there's also a chance that if they can see now, they can't come back into it. There's going to be a penalty, a knock-on advantage. Looked like he may have been tackled a bit early, the Lions player. The Sharks will have themselves a scrum feed now. And Dale Steyn was my idol. What a sportsman. So here's JP. Yeah, there was something so great about watching him bowl. Definitely who did he play for? Was it the Melbourne Stars in the BBL? We have got there my bro, who played at Hamilton Boys High School. He made New Zealand under 20s and actually played a better trial at 10 over guys like Gareth Anscombe, Lima Sopawang and Bowden Barrett. Gareth's dad was the coach. He made it in. Says Artemisia, I should say. Right, man of the match is going to be Grant Williams. In this case, Steyn is such a modest guy off the field. On the field, he is a demon. Says Ruby. They are just finding the mark for the scrum here. Just going to show the replay. Was he tackled off the ball? Oh no, tip tackle. Dumb. That was really dumb from Pepsi Buthelezi, and I believe that's given the Lions the penalty. Or at least it will. Halfway mark says the life of a 3-year-old. So not quite halfway. They're going to be at about 42 metres out. The penalty, I believe, will be going the way of the Lions, though, because of that tip tackle. And see Assassins for the win, says Eunuch. Eat before you think. was the worst advice of my life. Eat before you think. Why? I would like an opinion to watch the rugby with on TV with no commentary so we can hear the crowd and choose your own commentary or none at all. Just the sound of the ball on the boat. Ball on the boat? And the crowd. So that's probably... SABC wouldn't have that, would they? And I don't think DSTV do it. But yeah, it would be quite cool if they had that as an option. I know that on some of the smaller matches, they actually have that as an option, mainly because they don't have a commentary team for it. That's where like grassroots rugby is so good, because you can kind of enjoy it and hear the atmosphere. Whose ball at the moment? The Lions have got themselves the line out. They're going to be throwing this one, and they have decided to go for the corner rather than taking on the 3 points. As 3 points wouldn't quite get them there. The Lions now in possession. Another advantage goes against the Sharks. Now up against Saracens a couple weeks ago, they almost blew at the Sharks in the final moments. Are they going to have that happen here? 1 minute remaining on the clock, and the Lions looking to cause the upset in Durban. Currently down by the 4 points, so any form of try, converted or not, would win them this game. Oosterhuizen getting driven backwards. Good low body position from Ruan Del Port. Now into the pocket. Chris Smith looking for the cross kick. It's what Saracens did. I have no idea why the sides do it. You need to eat or you won't be able to do anything, says Sven. Right, they're going back. I just don't like the cross kick tactic. We've seen it so many times cost teams. And now we're going to see it maybe cost the Lions. 25 seconds remaining. They at least have the penalty advantage. But now they have to pretty much start from ball number 1. Whereas the Sharks, their defense will be now set. Seatbelts kill more people than they save was the worst advice I ever got, says Big Rig. Now, ticking over to the 80-minute mark now. It looks like they're going to go for the quick tap here, the Lions, rather than going for the line out. Just short of line for Mornay Brandon. Couple meters out. Hassim Peg looks short side. Tukwuma, who was almost held up. They have to be very careful here, the Lions, that they don't get dragged over the try line. Hassim Peg to the short side. And the youngster scores the try that wins the Lions the game. Grant Williams may have got man of the match, but Hassim Peg's got moment of the match, stealing the victory in the final moments and getting the Lions the away win in Durban. Conchi's on point. Looks like it's going down to the wire. It certainly is. And the Lions get the job done in the closing moments of this match. And Peterson to maintain his 100% record, says Good Story. I told you more beer, says Ruby there. Hassim Peg manages to get that try. Gets a big hug from Kyoan Horn. Jordan Hendrickson is to blame for this, says Aino. And brave by the Lions there. Yeah, see, I thought the cross kick may cost them. We saw it cost Saracens only a few weeks ago because they went for that exact same move. But in this case, the Lions, the quick tap rather than going for the corner, that was the difference. Saracens lost that line out. So I think that the Lions just felt, great kick from Chris Smith too. Does hit the post as it comes around, but it doesn't matter if it missed because they still win this game by 1 and end the slight winning streak that the Sharks had created for themselves. Your beauty, says Ander. And now Lions my South African team. Because my favourite New Zealand player used to coach them, Spencer. And also they can now be one of the 3 Lions on the shirt. Let's see if Hamish gets that. Says Big Rig. Not at all. And back to Benji, says Ruby. And why was there a chair here, says Cool Story. I would say it was probably the Lions supporters. Absolute nonsense this, says Hayno. And crazy comeback from the Lions. I thought they were done. Yeah, the fact that they scored 15 points early on in the game, and then from there, they kind of took the foot off the gas. They had a red card. Now, I will mention, the Sharks get themselves 2 bonus points from this game because of the fact that they were within 7 and the fact that they scored 4 tries. So just quickly looking at the way that the standings sit, the Lions, they get themselves the 4 points. They move up into 7th. The Sharks, even with the loss, do actually propel themselves up to 13th. They will move up to 14 points on the board. The Lions, they are sitting there with the 21 points now in the overall standings. And still a game in hand over the Ospreys. Something that could come into factor a little bit later on. in the competition as well. Sharks get a bonus point. They get 2 bonus points. The sky's the limit. Keep up the good work. Says Finn. Draw would have been nice. And also, whoever their Sharks are with the All-Stars is useless. Says J213. Poor Scarlet says Big Rig. And there as well. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. We have got 25 minutes until that next match does take place. That will be between the Bulls and the Stormers. If it's anything like this game, it could be very close going down to the wire for another South African derby. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I will see you all for the next one.